Okay, it is Klimt and Patterns for Layering 3 combined. Take 45, action.
And we're winging it. We really are winging it here today.
Yeah, we just said we don't know what we're going to say, but we figure it out.
We do. Klimt was one of your, not your earliest release with us, but one of your very early releases with us. And there have been a couple of Klimt themed releases. And we had the new Patterns for Layering stencils out because we were playing with them and had the bright idea that it would be fun. They are patterns for layering, so we decided to layer them with some Klimt stencils. And it actually turned out pretty interesting.
Yeah, they're meant for layering, but not only with each other, but also with other patterns. They're just good layering patterns, so hence the name. But yeah, so it's, and the Klimt, they're my favorite, I have to say.
They are near and dear to your heart.
Yes, they are. So it was fun to bring them back in for sure. So I did a combination of Klimt and the new patterns for layering, and I used neutral colors, which is unlike me. Oh, look, it matches my shirt today.
How did that happen?
I don't know. Yeah, so that was kind of uncharacteristic, but I love it. And I made several, the ghost prints and the prints, and so now I have a pile of black and white.
You have neutral colors for not that you use a ton of neutral colors in your artwork, but I'm sure that there's room for them in there somewhere.
Maybe I could collage a zebra.
There you go.
I have collaged zebras.
Well, there you go then.
Yeah.
So I'm working in brighter colors because sometimes you have to be a little bit crazy. And this is the print that I started with. This is the pair. There's a first generation and a ghost print. And in the video, you'll see me do another first generation with some slightly different colors, and then another ghost print. Grungy, fun ghost prints, which I love.
Yes, and we did, you'll see, we did mine, you can see all the layers through each other. Barb used opaque, so we got 2 different effects, and it's lots of fun.
Yeah, shall we go?
So let's go show them how to do it.
All right.
So Barb and I have been combining the new Patterns for Layering 3 with the previous Klimt designs, everybody's favorite Klimt, especially me. So we wanted to show you some of the things we came up with, or I'm going to show you some of the combos I came up with and then demonstrate one for you. So this one was was one of the first ones I did, and I love combining the sort of straight lines with the curvy lines. You'll see me doing that a lot. So I can't remember the names of these stencils.
We know the names of the ones we're using. That's as far as we can go.
That's as far as we can go. So there's that one. This one I really liked with the concentric metallic over the watery lines. And the nice thing about the concentric metallic, that stencil is very small openings. So you can put an opaque color or a metallic color on top and it doesn't cover everything. So I love that, that very small opening pattern for this one. That's a really fun combo of colors. Then this one is a nice example of layer, layer, layer. That's how you get the best prints, is to do 2 or 3 or 4 layers. And so I really like the way that one came out. And of course, I'm using all of these for collage papers. So this one I do know is Tree of Life. That one is kind of unmistakable.
That one's easy.
Yeah. And this is a nice example of the pattern showing through in the tree opening. So that's nice layering. And then Barb and I were just saying we just love this color combo, this kind of orangey red with teal.
It's very dramatic.
Yeah, it's pretty dramatic. It's almost opposite color contrast, so it's got a lot of vibrancy to it. And the swirls of the Klimt mirror mirror with the dots of the new Patterns for Layering 3 is kind of a nice combo. And this is the one that I'm going to demonstrate. And this is kind of uncharacteristic for me because it is monochromatic for the most part. So, why not? We'll step out of our comfort zone. There's always obviously a use for neutral colors, even though we don't technically embrace them typically.
This is true. But that one really, when we were playing at opposite ends of the table here, and I looked over and saw that and I thought, yep, that's a winner.
Yeah, because it's different too, right?
Yeah.
So this, the Klimt one is called Vienna. And Barb, what is the other one called?
Oh, Flora and Flow, the swatches
this
right
one
by my elbow.
Okay,
there.
Flora and Flow. So this is Flora and Flow from the new Patterns for Layering 3, and I'm combining it with Vienna from the Klimt series. And so the base layer of this, it looks white, but it is a silver. So the base color is a silver. That's going to be the solid that I build the 2 layers on, and I have already printed the silver on the rice paper.
It just has a nice little shimmer.
Yeah, it's a nice little shimmer, and it's just not completely white. And we're working on our Yasutomo sketch rice paper pad. This is my favorite paper for, not only for gel printing, but for gluing down in collage, because it's highly absorbent and it glues down very flat, which is always my goal. Okay, so we're gonna start on the silver, and then the first layer that I do is I go darker, and then the third layer is darker still. So I'm always working from light to dark. So my second color in this print is a neutral gray, and then the third layer is a Payne's gray, which is a little bit less blue in this brand of paint than sometimes in others. So Flora and Flow is going to be created with the neutral gray. And we are working on our 9x12 gel plate, which is exciting because it is a co-brand between Joggles and Paper Paintings and Gel Press. But more exciting than that is that it is 9x12. So it fills the entire sheet of paper. And you know, we always get the tangles with the Klimt.
What would life be without some tangles?
Right, some tangles. Okay, so we're gonna put that and print it on this nice silver metallic. And I wanna make sure you get a good impression. And I always peek before I take the paper off to make sure I don't need more pressure.
Isn't that pretty?
So see, you can see there's a little, you need a little bit more pressure there. Yeah, rather than just dismounting the whole paper all at once and then you have a missed spot. I always like to check. So, and then, so look at that. That's a fun combo. And the metallic just kind of gives it all a little shimmer. So now we have extra paint on here. I'm just gonna pull a print to clear that. I don't like to throw away any paint at all, so I'll just do a cleanup sheet and then this will become a layer for something else. I mean, that's cool too, right?
Absolutely.
Look at that.
Yep.
So
it's ready to go.
Yep. So yeah, I mean, rather than baby wipe it off or whatever, okay, I like to save it. So, okay, so now we've got our Payne's gray. And this is has the half full box in terms of transparency, which means that it's partially transparent or partially opaque. That's just a glass half full statement, right? Could be one or the other. Now I want to roll this off onto a clean sheet because I don't want to lighten that up with this. So I'm just going to clean that off and then roll out the Payne's gray. Okay, so now we're gonna come in with Vienna and the previous layer. Now, it does make a difference in which way you layer the stencils. If we were to put these in the opposite order and put Vienna down first, we would definitely get a different effect. So it's kind of fun to play around with that in addition to everything else, is the order of layering. Okay, let's see. Ooh, look at that.
That's pretty.
Yeah, this is a little darker than the first one.
A tick.
Oh, I love it.
But it is very pretty.
Very pretty.
And I mean, you guys know me, Elizabeth knows me. I am not a neutral girl. I like pastels, but that is such a pretty print. It's a pretty color combination.
Yeah, yeah. And like I said, in my collage process, which is what I use these papers for, there's an application for every color, including neutral.
I'm using 2 stencils also. I'm using Verdant Vision. This is from the Patterns for Layering 3 collection. And then I'm using one of the older Klimts that's named Looking Glass. This is what I'm going to create. And unlike Elizabeth, who created a single print, I'm going to create 2. So this is my first generation pulls as I think of them. And this is the ghost print that happens. And rather than recreate with the orange, the turquoise, and the purple, I'm going to start off with kind of a bright pink, and then I'm going to go to a kind of an acidy green, and then I'm going to go back to purple again, but I'm going to change the purple around a little bit. So we'll see how that works. The first thing that I've done is gone ahead and I've printed, so I have a first generation pull of the pink and I have a ghost print of the pink. And the next step would be this green. And why would it be easy? I'm mixing colors because, you know, let's make things difficult. And then I'll bring in the Verdant Vision stencil. So I like the acidy green. I want to darken it a little bit because the value, is that what I'm looking for? Yes, these are kind of close. So I want to change this up a little bit. We'll see. Maybe I'm adding the wrong color. We'll figure it out. It's not the end of the world one way or the other. All right, so I'm gonna mix this up a little bit here on the plate. And if I don't think I have enough paint, which I'm not positive I do, I'm gonna come back with a little bit of the acidy green. And I'll go ahead and stir that. Honestly, this reminds me of stirring cake batter. I'll stir this up. Okay. That looks pretty good. And sometimes, you know, if the paint is a little bit mottled, that just adds an extra effect. So I'm not going to lose any sleep over it if that happens. All right, let's just brayer that off over there. And I'm going to bring Verdant Vision in and place it on our fabulous 9x12 plate. This is my first generation print. This is my first generation background. So these are going to go on here. You know, every time you and I get together, we remark about how resistant we were to the Baron and how much we've come to depend on it.
Yeah, I love it. And I never thought I would.
So this stencil has really tiny openings, not as small as the one that Elizabeth showed you in her segment, but they are pretty small, which means I want to be certain that I pick up as much through the openings of the stencil as possible. And if I don't, I have the option to go back, and I'll show you in 1 second if I don't think I've got enough. But you can already see, and I missed right there, you can already see how strong the contrast is. I mean, these are, for all intents and purposes, complementary colors. So what I'm going to do is grab one of my roll-off sheets. Let's put that over there for a second. And I'm just going to pick up a little bit more of the color, because if I don't, I'm going to see more green than I will of the pink on this ghost print. So I just want to clean that out a bit. Okay, I think that's good. So now off comes the stencil. There is my Verdant Vision, and I'm going to go ahead and print this. My paper's curled a little bit. And I'm going to give that just a moment so it picks up as much of that green as possible. And while I'm waiting for that, I'm going to mix purple. So those are the same two colors. This one is Ultramarine Violet Light, and I'm actually going to throw a little bit of black in it. And you know what? I think I'm going to throw in some of this grayish blue. I want something that's deep, but not in the same hue, that same purple family as what I did previously. So let's push these
Black.
Just a little bit.
Of all
Just
colors.
a little bit. Ooh, look at that.
Ooh, look at that. Nice.
Again, we're going with Elizabeth's leaping off the balance beam before we pull the thing right off.
Yeah. Look at that, right to the edges.
Yep.
No wasted paper.
Yeah, I like that. I'd be happy with that just the way that it is, but let's go the step further.
Fun.
Okay, so I'm going to start with the purple, and I'm not going to worry about if I get a little bit of mixing here. It just is what it is. There's the purple. I'm going to mix in some of the gray blue. I want to change this purple up a little bit. And then Elizabeth is having a heart attack on the other side of the counter here, but I'm going to throw in some black.
Black.
We'll see how it goes. You know what? If it doesn't work, we can always start again.
It'll be fine.
It's going to be a really kind of deep. This reminds me of lilacs, but
Oh, yeah, it
dark lilacs. I had lilacs at my house that were multicolored in my house in Rhode Island, and they were gorgeous.
I bet.
Okay, so this is a lot of paint, but that's okay, because again, I need to make 2 prints. So I'm going to bring in Looking Glass and lay that down. Let's lay it down accurately. And then I'm going to bring back my first generation print. That's this one. And go ahead and put it on here and pick up that purple. And I can always grab my roll-off sheet if I've got too much paint left on the plate. Let's see how this looks.
Ooh.
That's pretty. I missed right there, though. There we go.
Look at
That's
that.
better. The thing that I like about this is the black is opaque. This grayish blue is opaque. And the purple that I used is opaque. So I knew I was going to get good coverage using those colors. And that's what I want to do. I want to see the swirls and the swoops through the opening of the Klimt stuff through Looking Glass. Okay, so there's the first generation print, which is really pretty. And it's, you know what, I like the fact that the colors are quite different than the first one that I did. So I'm gonna just grab this roll-off sheet again and pick up some of this extra color. I don't wanna wait too long because I want to make certain that the paint that's sitting under that mask is still wet. So let's take this off. Ooh, I like that color.
That is a great color.
You made fun of me.
Kinda.
I don't think there was anything kinda about that. I think you just pretty much made fun of me. You were having little heart attacks over there.
It's just that black is just never in my repertoire.
I know.
I don't know why.
I tend to not use black other than if I want to make something deeper or I want to make it opaque. I love these prints because they have a tendency to be grungy.
Yeah, the ghost print.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of black where things didn't get mixed super well.
That looks kind of cool though.
Yes.
Yeah.
So here's that. And here is the original version of it. So I actually like both of these, working mostly with complementary colors because, well, not purple and turquoise, but the orange and the turquoise and the orange and the purple are across the color wheel from one another. And the same thing goes on here in terms of what essentially is red and green across from the color wheel on that purple.
Beautiful.
So they are, this by far is my favorite. I mean, here when we look at the first generation, you can see.
Yeah. I love the way the opaque purple in both cases gives you only the pattern showing through into the Looking Glass. That's kind of unique how the pattern only shows through in the second pattern.
And that's something that I've learned from you is how to be selective about choosing the transparency of the paint that you're using and the effects that you get when you use them.
You learned something from me?
I do all the time. Every time we're together.
That's
I learn
awesome.
something new. You weirdo. Honey, you need to come this way a little bit. That's a little bit better.
We should sit on the same chair.
That might be a little bit too close.
Right.
Just a tick.
So we encourage you to layer your heart out because you know that I think the best prints are the ones that are layer, like 3 or 4 layers. So post them on social media and tag us. Tag Paper Paintings, tag Joggles, and we'd like to see what you create.
Yeah, and we'll share them too.
Yeah. So, all right, well then, we'll see you back here next week.
Bye.
Bye.